Do you have an Australian Shepherd at home and would you like to see how to style it? Then this is your video. Hello and welcome back to an episode of Kitty Talks Dogs. Today it's all about the Aussie, in other words, the Australian Shepherd. We have a smaller version with us, which is called Miniature Australian Shepherd, and his name is Churchill. Churchill is not a show dog, but as all Australian Shepherd, Churchill has a very nice temperament. Australian Shepherd is always ready to play, has loads of energy, and is just a very fun dog. The Aussie is not a dog that you can leave on the sofa all day. The Australian Shepherd really likes some action. He's actually family of the herder dogs, working dogs. In Australia, they used to herd the sheep, and they really like action. It's really fair if you have an Australian Shepherd that you go walking regularly and that you keep them busy with playful games. They have a very nice temperament. The Australian Shepherd comes in a variety of colors, and Churchill is the blue merle, but you also have the red merle, you have the black, and then you have the all red with or without the white markings or even the tan. If you are interested in any of the products I am using, just scroll down below the video and there's a link there which you can open and see all the used products. And here you see Churchill. Churchill is a little shy at the table, but he needs some time to get used to the table and all be fine. Let's start with clipping the nails. I will first take a little bit off and then further I will grind them. So I'm not taking off a huge amount, and it's very easy here because we have white nails and you can see the quick actually through the white nails. So it's nothing easier to clip than white nails. And here you see me grinding the nails. I don't like any sharp bits, and I also like the Showtech nail grinder very much because it's not too heavy, it's very nice to hold in your hands, and it's just a simple tool to get the nails as short as possible. And now let's do some ear cleaning. I'm going to use the ear care, the wipes and the big bamboo sticks. I like to start with the ear care. I can just, when I hold the ear up, I can slowly drip it on top of the ear and automatically all the liquid will drip in the ear. I don't mind filling the ear with the liquid, and under the ear then I massage, and that will make sure all the wax will dissolve. It's also not a bad idea to wait a minute, or if you can, 30 seconds at least, so the active ingredients from the product will dissolve all the wax and all the dirt will become nice and loose. And then after that we use the big bamboo sticks to get everything out. And as you will see here, there will be quite a lot of dirt coming out of Churchill's ears. And for the outer ear, I really like to do that with the wipes. The wipes are nice and wet, they smell nice, and on the outside of the ear, which is sometimes very dirty and greasy, you can clean them very nicely with the ear wipes. As you can see here with the big bamboo stick, it's very easy. You can put it deep in the ear. It has no sharp edges at all. You can turn it, you can inside the ear where it has bubbles, and you can twist it around the difficult parts. Now you can see the open up ear, it's all nice and squeaky. The outer ear, as you can see here, we are making it very nice and clean with the wipes. Before we start the grooming, I like to stack the dog and see how nice he is, how the top line is, and where the hair needs to be thinned or scissored. And here we totally see the top line is like very thick, just behind the withers. And it's not like flowing, so it's definitely necessary with Churchill to go like a little finer or a little less hair just behind the withers. Otherwise, it's not like Churchill has a lot of hair. It doesn't need a lot of styling, but we do need to like take out some underwool. So we're going to start some stripping and some carding in certain places. The hair of an Australian Shepherd has a medium texture. Some of them have a very big undercoat. It also depending on the weather or in where the dog lives. You can like play with the undercoat to make the dog like finer or bigger in certain places. Like here, we need to work on the undercoat from the top line to make it more flat, to have a more flowing underline. The hair on the legs, on the back of the legs and on the front are moderate to long. And on some places, for example, the ears, the Australian Shepherd can have like an overgrowing undercoat, which needs to be taken off by scissors or by plucking. Just before, it was like a hump on the back or a roach back, and now, as you can see, slowly it's like going more flatter and the top line is more flowing. Here you see me using the white stripping stone. I'm just checking if I can easily get some hair out of the sides of the head, because it's like very wide, and what we are trying to do is having the sides a little less thick, so the front chest and the top line will come out more. So at the sides, before I start scissoring, I'm trying to take out as much as possible hair which is ready to come out or loose or possible to take out with the stripping stone. I do this because I like the natural finish. I don't really like scissoring very much, but as you can see here, Churchill is like standing a bit like this, so I want the neck to be a little bit like more open and to scoop out on the sides a bit more to make his neck come out a bit better. If you see around the ears hair which has another texture, it's usually softer and more dull. This is the overgrowing underhair, and this is very easy to just take between your fingers and to pull out. In this case, all the hairs which are dull and overgrowing underhair will disappear, and you will be left with a nice, firm, like harder coat, which is much easier to style and which will be fall better and will be more shiny. It's very easy to take the hair out with your fingers, but if you have to do this a lot and you have a very sensitive skin, it's much easier to do the same thing with the stripping stone. As we were preparing Churchill for the bath, we had an extra visitor which we didn't really like. As you can see here, there's something crawling on his head. It's a flea. We had to quickly get it out before it was jumping all over the place. Here on my thumb you see a flat flea. It's a very strange thing to do, but as a groomer I have been doing this for years. If we see a flea, we take the flea and we like get it between our thumb and finger, but then what do we do with it? What I was taught a very long time ago, as I was slowly taking the flea between where it was between my finger and my thumb, put it on my thumbnail, put my other thumbnail on top of it and crush the flea between my two nails. If there's other people doing another way, please put it in the comments and teach me, but this is the way I've been doing it for years, because if you leave it, it's just gonna jump and start breeding, and that's exactly what we don't want. We were searching on other places between the hair for fleas. We didn't find any more fleas, but here you can see feces. The little black spot here between the hairs is a feces, and how do you know this? If you put a drop of water on a paper towel and you like squash the feces, you have a brown spot, as you can see here. The first thing we are going to do is wash Churchill with the flea shampoo. The The flea shampoo is a very good shampoo. It gets rid of all the fleas, but we have to use it like concentrated, full concentrate on the dog and leave it 10 minutes. After the flea shampoo, we will rinse well and use the Timaha shampoo. The Timaha shampoo we are especially using because we want to detox the dog's coat and skin, and we want to have a nice and light, fluffy coat. The next shampoo will be the nutritious Romance shampoo, which is concentrated 1:20 and is a very good and fun shampoo to use. To finish off, we will use the Showtech Moisture Mask because this is a very nourishing conditioner and this is exactly what we need for this coat. We will first wet Churchill with just lukewarm water, and we don't usually have dogs which like to lie down in the bath, but Churchill really is now relaxed and decided to lie down. We will first wash the front. And as you can see, I'm using the flea shampoo full on without diluting. I really don't like to do this, but because of the active ingredient in the shampoo, it's very necessary. The Showtech Plus Flea and Tick shampoo is not a dangerous shampoo. It's the shampoo based on aloe vera and dimeticone. The dimeticone is like a silicone. It puts a layer around the flea. And because it's the layer, a very sticky layer, it immobilizes the flea. The flea can't move anymore and automatically falls off the dog. Therefore, it's very important we use the full shampoo without diluting, and we leave the shampoo on the dog for at least 5 minutes. When you have to put the shampoo on not diluted, it makes it a bit a longer version. It's also a bit more difficult to apply. And if it's too dry, you have to put a little bit water on the coat, or else it's just not going to be very easy to start washing. You have to feel with your fingers that the lather is strong and you have a nice mousse to work with. And if you feel that, it's because you have used enough shampoo. Here you see me using the shampoo on the pet's nose. I'm doing that last of all and being very careful around the eyes. But it's also very necessary there because sometimes the fleas go to places where there's no product to try to survive. So it's very necessary to put the flea shampoo everywhere. And after 5 minutes, you can start rinsing. I've done the first the head and the nose, so all the product is gone from the head and it's also safer. Also, while you are rinsing, it's very necessary to use your second hand, to get all the shampoo out and then rinse again and take the water off. So it's really, you are massaging with your left hand and spraying with your right hand. And here you see me preparing the Timaha shampoo. I am using 1/2 liter of water and 2 spoons or 1.5 spoons of shampoo. Just put the shampoo in the bowl and give it a mix, and make sure that you always use very warm water to start with, because the shampoo needs the warmth from the water to dilute. And here you see me applying the shampoo with the foaming sponge. I don't use the sponge for washing, but I do use it to apply the shampoo. I love using that sponge because when you use that sponge together with the Timaha shampoo, you have a very nice lather and it feels foamy and it's thick, and you can just enjoy the washing much more when you feel this. Now I'm going to start massaging and rubbing, and I've also started again at the neck. And also I go and wash very hard, firm, and everywhere, also between the feet and the shoulders and the tummy and everywhere around. And the last bit I will do the head. Also nice around the nose again. The last thing I will wash is the head, and the first thing I will rinse is also the head. And I do this because I absolutely don't like to have shampoo in their eyes or mouth or ears. So that's why I do this. I'm not saying I have shampoo in the eyes, but I don't want to take any risk I always use lukewarm water, so when I rinse, I don't have to be afraid of having some water in the eyes. It's also safe, it's only water, and this way I'm sure there's never shampoo in the eyes. Here you see me preparing the Romance shampoo. The Romance shampoo is concentrated 1 to 20. That means if you use 1 cap shampoo, you can use 20 caps of water. And it's very easy to prepare in a mixing bottle. And the Romance shampoo has a very nice fragrance. This time I'm using the mixing bottle to apply the shampoo. As you can see here, you also have a very nice lather. And I'm just rubbing everywhere, also nice and tight, with a good grip on my hands. I'm sure Churchill will have a very clean coat because of the flea and tick. He's gonna have 3 shampoos, so it's gonna be no problem. And here you see me rubbing again the neck, and now I'm going to do the head. I'm going with the shower around the eyes, not to have much water in the eyes. And now I'm rinsing the body. And you can see me working with my left hand, like to push out the shampoo as much as possible. It's very important we rinse all the shampoo out. It is soap, and the soap needs to be totally gone to make a very nice clean coat. Here you see me applying the moisture mask. The moisture mask we just take between our hands and we rub it in the coat on full strength. We can also dilute it, but in most cases we use it full concentrate on the coat. And also here, after we use the moisture mask, we wait at least 5 minutes to let the product do its work and make the skin and coat absorb the nutritive ingredients from the product. After 5 minutes here you see me rinsing, and the coat feels really lovely. The coat feels very soft for the moment. The moisture mask will strengthen the coat, and it will nourish all the hairs individually to make the hair nice and fluffy after when we start drying. And here you see me using the K92 Power Blaster. This is a very strong blaster, and as you can see, it's blowing away all the water out of the coat. It's not only blowing away the water, but if there is loose coat in the coat, it will also blow that hair away. I like to use a towel in combination with the dryer, so when the water is blasted out of the coat, the water goes into the towel, especially when we are drying the legs and the feet. And the water, which is disappearing out of the coat, doesn't have a chance to go to another part of the coat. It goes into the towel. Churchill is now squeaky clean, as you can see, and very fluffy. And now let's do some brushing. I am going to use the Russian slicker and the Smooth Touch slicker. The Russian slicker is the big slicker for the first job, and then to finish off and to make the hair nice standing up like on the hawks where we need the volume, or to finish so it's nice and light and fluffy, we will use the Smooth Touch slicker. Today I'm also using the Cyclone Speedy Dryer, which is one of my favorite dryers. It goes forever. It's a very good temperature, it has a very good airflow, and it's just a fun dryer to use. Its wheels are now much bigger than they used to be a few years ago. You can dry quite quickly with that kind of a dryer. It's important you open the coat with the dryer, so you direct the dryer in a certain place, and that's exactly the place where we will be brushing. And while doing this, you will dry the coat from half dry to full dry, and when you do the warm air from the dryer and the brushing at one spot, until it's nice and dried. You will like straighten all the coat and you will create lots of volume. Depending on which part of the dog, like the top line where the hair needs to be quite flat, we will dry with the direction of the coat, and other places where we need volume, we can dry against the volume. We can like brush and pull the hair against the direction. As you can see, I'm pulling the hair from the head like against the direction because I want that hair to like stand up and create more voluminous head. And here you see me finishing a part with the smooth slicker and changing again to the Russian slicker, which is no problem at all. We use the Russian slicker until it's nice and smooth and you don't feel resistance anymore. And then like to finish off, you can finish off with the smooth slicker. Here you see me pulling the hair behind the withers as flat as possible. I'm brushing with the direction of the coat to make this part as flat as possible. And again, the short hairs from the feet and from the legs I am doing with the smooth slicker. And I'm like going against direction to lift them up as much as possible. And then the longer furnishings at the back of the front legs I'm doing with the Russian slicker first. And then also finishing off with the smooth slicker to make the coat as straight and fluffy as possible. The back of the back I'm like going with direction. The Australian Shepherd can like go slope down a little but not too much. So we need a bit of volume there to make it like go straight and then go down a bit. But if we would brush it all against direction, we might have too much volume and the back would be too straight. Here you see me brushing the tail, and I first used also the Russian slicker, and now I'm finishing off with the smooth touch slicker. It's very important we don't leave any hairs which are not dried, because then they can like stick to each other and don't make as much as fluff of voluminous finish. And now let's do some clipping. These are the Showtech Starlet and Experto clippers. The smaller one is the Starlet. The Starlet is like a very small trimmer for small jobs, but although Churchill is not so small, you will see it does really do the work. And I'm using on the left-hand side the Starlet to show you the two different clippers. The Experto is like a bit of a larger clipper for bigger areas or for larger dogs. The Experto is our newest clipper. It has a 5-in-1 blade and it has 5 speeds. It's a very fun clipper to work with. I like the blade very much because the blade has like all the teeth very narrow to each other. It's very rounded, so it's also very safe in use. Here you see me using the Starlet. And I'm just not going inside the feet pads very much. I'm just like going on top. To be able to like use the Starlet like scissors, you need to put the speed on the highest setting, the 3rd setting. And you just like fly with your clipper among the feet, and then you can do much less scissor work. When you are doing this, just be careful not to follow the dog's skin, but just go away from the skin and don't push very hard towards to the skin. Just use it as a scissor. So use it above the nails and above the pads, but just don't follow the skin because that will create a very bold spot. And to show you the difference, on the other feet I am using the Experto. I'm just actually very happy that we have these two machines, and now I can use my own machines and they work fantastically well. Here as well, I'm not really going in between the pads. I'm just going like on top of them, and all the hairs in front of the nails need to go. And here as well, you see me using the clipper like I would use a scissor, and I'm doing much pre-work with the clipper. To be able to use the expert tool for styling feet, you need to put the setting on the 40, which is the smallest or shortest clipping length. And then it's very simple. The two blades on top here are very close to each other. And as soon as you get in contact with hair, the expert tool will clip it off. And now it's time to do some scissoring. Today I'm going to use the Yento Cobra Chunker, and I chose this scissor because it has a very long blade and it's very good for finishing. And as Churchill doesn't really need much scissoring, I've chosen exactly this scissor. For the straight scissor, I chose the Yento Ergoline 17 centimeter, that's a 7-inch. And then I've chosen the Utsumi Speedy Blender. The Utsumi Speedy Blender is very good for the last finishing touches. You can go very smooth. You don't feel it when you go open and close your scissor. It's just extreme, like butter. Like you cut with a knife in the butter, you don't feel anything. You don't hear anything as well when you use the Utsumi Blender. So that's why I chose it. I'm going to use 3 combs. One is the Sentinel. I like this comb very much. It has very long teeth and they are quite not sharp, but they are conical made. You can go deep through the coat and you can layer the coat very nice because this comb has very long pins. It's very nice to hold because it's extra light. It has a very special metal. And this comb is also very special to me because it's made on one piece. And then we have the curved featherlight comb. The curved featherlight comb I like because it takes the form of the dog. The body is round, and when you comb with this comb, you can do some scissoring on the comb with the technique scissor on the comb. Because it's round and the body is round, you can cut more hair at one time. Today I'm not going to use the scissor technique, scissor on comb. I'm going to turn the comb around and then it's on the other edge, and it's just simply very good for taking the hair and lifting it upwards. And then to finish the big feather light, I like also very much to do the first combing because it's the wide pins. And it's just a very good comb when you are standing far away. It's a long comb and you can just hold the back of the comb and just do some combing, lifting up. And it's just also a very nice comb to hold and to work with. For the scissoring spray, I'm using the Quick Fix spray. The Quick Fix spray is a very good spray for layering the coat or styling the coat while you are scissoring. Here you see me scissoring the rest of the feet. I've done most of the scissor work with the clippers, but the little tiny hairs which are sticking out, I'm going to take out with the blender. The Australian Shepherd needs to have like cat foot-like feet, so you just have to be careful and only take the little parts out and make it like straight, and then you also don't have to be afraid to go on the front like I'm doing now. I'm lifting all these hairs out. And before you scissor too much, just check if you can pull that hair out. And as you can see, it's like this other quality of hair, like very fluffy and very soft, also a bit dull of color. Actually, if you want to have nice feet, it's better you pull this little bit hair out because it's just overgrown under hair. And if you can pull that out, the full paw will have another color. It will be deeper color and it will be also more shinier. Once all this dull hair is gone and disappeared, you can just also continue scissoring all the little bits which are sticking out. Just make the comb as cat-like as possible and just don't forget to keep on combing also in between the toes. Keep on combing the hair left, right, down, up. And if you think you're finished, just start over all again with combing and see if there's no hairs sticking out. This is now the back legs. Also here I'm trying to get that little bit of fluff, dull hair which is coming from in between the toes. I'm pulling it out first before I'm starting to scissor. And if it's only a little bit, it's fine to do with the fingers, But if it's more, I would take the grippy fingers or the finger condoms, because for me, I have sensitive skin. I don't groom daily, and if I take the hairs which are really hard in the skin, if it would be a lot, I would use a finger condom or a grippy finger. Australian Shepherds need to have cat foot. For grooming cat foot, we go very short here, and as you've seen, I did that with the clippers, like the little scissoring work here. And then when all that is done, we take the scissor and we go like vertical, we scissor all that part, and here at this picture you see that it's like in a small corner. This is quite important, and it's quite nice as well afterwards when you see them with very nice cat foot. And here you see me preparing the magic towel in very, very, very hot water. The warmer it is, the better, but it's difficult to squeeze when you are using too much warm water. So you put it in as hot water as possible, you squeeze it out, you take your quick fix spray, you spray the areas that need flattening, and then you put the warm magic towel, or shall I say the hot magic towel, on top of the area that needs straightening and flattening. The warm air from the magic towel will circulate under the magic towel, take the product, and this will make the coat go flat. While the magic towel is on the coat, let's do some other scissoring work. So first let's finish the ears. Churchill's ears are not really very long coated, but we still need to do the edges, and we still need to go around. And for finishing, we don't have to have a corner, but it's not like rounding, it is with a triangle-ish finish. So here you see me using the thinning scissors, and I was using my finger to hold the ear, so I exactly know how far I can scissor. It's not like I'm scissoring without knowing where the ear exactly is. I'm holding the ear with my two fingers, and then I'm scissoring towards my fingers. After finishing the edges, I do it this way. Maybe some people roll the ear, but I take my finger behind the ear and I push the ear towards the scissor, and this is how I scissor. And I follow the scissor with my finger, and each time I'm scissoring on top of my finger with the ear in between. And because I push the hair towards the scissor, and this is making the hair stick out, and it's very easy for me to work on ears this way. I take my time to do the ears, because it's when you see the head from the Australian Shepherd, you see the ears and the expression, and I really find it's very important to have nice and tidy ears. Churchill is a very beautiful dog, but here in the salon he is keeping his ears in a very strange position, and it looks like he has rose ears. He should have a V-shaped ear, which is folding down nicely, and then you can see the head, and then it's like an extension on the head, and then the ears fall down. In Churchill's case, I have to be very careful, because he's holding his ears really in a rose kind of way. So for finishing, I am not really pulling the ear upwards, but holding it upwards, and all the hairs behind the ears which are sticking out, I am scissoring. I'm not gonna go above the top line. I'm also not gonna go towards the chest, but I'm only gonna do the sides. And this is gonna make Churchill's head look a little higher. And the heaviness which is here in front will also be disappearing. Here you see me not only stopping, I like to see what I'm doing, so after scissoring and it's a little bit even, I like to hold his head in a natural position, have a comb or have a brush, and then see what I have done, and then repeat by scissoring all what is in the way. So it's nice and neat. Here you see me combing up the top line. I do this because now I'm going to go towards the sides and I need to know how high or how low the top line is. The shoulder I like to not really scissor or shorten, but I'm only going to take out the points so it's nice and even, and all the points which are sticking out or very small tiny little hairs, I would like to have them like smooth. Also now here at the feet, it's not really to go shorter behind the legs, but if it's very tiny little hairs at the bottom which are sticking out and not really being very even, I will cut them off. Now, as you can see here, I'm working on the sides and I'm not really taking a lot of hair out, I'm only like taking the points out. It's very easy just by scissoring and then combing and then taking the little combs out. I'm not scissoring twice at the same position. I move my scissors from left to right, from bottom to top, and I'm just combing and scissoring and combing and scissoring until it's all even. When you do that, it's very important you don't scissor like this all the time towards the dog, but you hold the scissor like flat and you do these kind of movement and don't just go up and down while you are scissoring. You can also go from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom. And now the other side. Here you can very nicely see the little hairs I was taking out. Only the ones which are sticking out. And don't worry about it. If you have a dog that doesn't need to be shown, you can go a little shorter if that's possible from your customer. Like Churchill does not need to go to the show, so if we are going a little too short, it really doesn't matter. The most important is that Churchill is going to go home happy and groomed and feels good, and the customer feels good with his grooming, and if that's a good deal between you and your customer, that's fine. Or if you want to groom your dog at home, as long as you are both happy, that's good. Here you see the front and you see how straight the legs are. And now I've removed the magic towel, and here as well you see how flat the coat is. And now let's do the back part. Churchill does not have a dog tail, but he has a long tail, and this is going to be a challenge. When you have a dog tail, you just go like under the tail, and you from the side, from the profile, see like the lines and the angulation. But with a long tail, it's important we don't go too short. But as the hair is there from the tail, we also need to like scissor under the tail a little line. So when you see the dog from the back, when the tail is moving, it's not all hairy and it's not like a hair ball, but you see the lines of the dog. And here I'm just gonna go around, cutting all the hairs off towards the hock. And here you see me now with a lifted tail going around at the sides and on the same height as the tail towards the sides, towards the dog, I'm cutting all the hairs away. And here again, I am scissoring and combing and scissoring and combing. And when I think I'm finished, I'm going to scissor again and see if there's no hairs coming out. As long as it's all nice and smooth. Here you see me using the belly strap on one side. So the belly strap is going from the table under his one leg, because Churchill is a little uncomfortable for me to scissor the back part and he wants to sit down all the time. And here you see from the side how much it's been flattened. And now let's do the other side. And also the hock. The hock needs to be like pulled upwards and nicely scissored evenly, so there's no hairs sticking out. Here you see me like styling while the tail is upwards, So when the tail is upwards, I don't like to have like the long hair from under the tail and above the tail like in the way. So I'm trying to make it as natural, but not too short as well. Just make it smooth. So when the tail moves, you see the bum, the muscles, and you see a part of the back, but you don't have the long hairs like twisting and when it's windy everywhere in the way. And here as well, you see me finishing. This is now with the Utsumi blender, this Utsumi Speedy blender, because there was like little hair sticking out. And here as well now at the top of the tail, where the hair is too much, I have made it shorter. And here we are like making a flag, a little bit like the golden retriever. And now when I see the dog, which is nearly finished, I have seen that it's still like too heavy here. It's like he has like a bulb here and here. So I think it would be better to just go a little shorter at the sides of the neck to make his chest come out more and to make his neck come out a little more. As this is a miniature Australian Shepherd, I think the neck is a little shorter than a normal sized Australian Shepherd. And this is also one of the reasons I want to get these sides like a little smoother, so it shows like he has a little bit more neck. So here you see me using the Yento Cobra Chunker, and I'm just scissoring and combing and scissoring, and I'm scissoring in all kind of direction. The only thing I'm not doing is scissoring twice at the same spot, because this scissors, the chunker scissors, have big holes, and when you scissor twice in the same position, you will have marks. Also, when you are scissoring and the hair is growing down, you can scissor upwards or you can scissor downwards, but if you scissor sidewards, you will also have marks. So you just have to be a little careful using this scissor. And here now you see the sides is like shorter, and now you see that his chest is like coming out more, and it's better. I think it's also lighter. It's not anymore like he's like in his neck. It's like it's been cut out a bit more. And now let's finish by doing some styling. Here you see the Evolution Spray. This is the reinvented hairspray. It's a very natural hairspray which you can use and still brush. It will give a little texture to the coat, but it will be very still natural. Then we have the Quick Clean. The Quick Clean is actually a very good product for making white more white, or when you have a problem with a dog which had an accident and you need to quickly get it clean, but also the Quick Clean gives us a little bit of volume. So I will use the Quick Clean for the volume, and then for laying the hair flat, I will use the Showtek Plus Serum. The Showtek Plus Serum is a very good product for when it's too woolly and too frizzy, or when it's standing too much up and you need to go having the hair a little bit more down. That's when we can use the Showtek Plus Serum. And here you see me having a fight because Churchill didn't want his paws to be sprayed. He's never had spray on his paws, and he's very right as well. I wouldn't want to have the spray on my paws if I was Churchill. Here you see me brushing the hair up, and you see the hairs standing up nicely on the white parts, and on the other parts I am using the Evolution Spray. And here let me just set the top line with a bit of the Evolution to make it nice and flat, and also the back paws, and now a bit serum for the top line and for the tail. We don't really want to get the tail too short, but then when you have the long hairs, you need to make sure they lie naturally and they are shiny, and that's exactly what the serum will do. So the serum is very easy to use. You just put it between your hands, you rub your hands together, and you can apply the serum very easily. And here you see the shiny hairs, squeaky clean from Churchill. Churchill will be very happy to go home, and here you see a finished Churchill. Here you see the before and the after pictures from Churchill. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this was a help for you. And if you are interested in any of the products, please scroll down below and there you will find a link with all the products I have been using. And if you are interested in seeing more of this kind of videos, please don't forget to subscribe. Keep grooming with passion. Thank you for watching. See you next time.